You still have to get out there. Beat the peeps. I don't know if I'm on the post. Let me just get
Colleen?
Yep. The meeting tonight is for conduct of the town board by the, the meeting tonight is for the conduct of the town business by the town board.
Too cold to read.
The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for anticipated cooperation. I'm too cold to talk.
Thank you very much, Colleen. I know it's cold in. So I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom, and also for our first responders. Thank you very much. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda. I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda just to add one thing. That was, we had the delivery of topsoils up at Sands Avenue, and we were fortunate enough to get a pretty good price on it, $20 a yard. So 50 yards was delivered. That's $1,000. So I'd like to talk about that when we get to it. So I add that to the agenda. So this way I get approval from the board. Sorry about that.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. The agenda is approved. Motion to approve minutes from the May 28, 2019 Town Board meeting.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. Authorize payment of bills.
Make that motion.
Now, hold on. Let me tell you what the amount is. It's $102,468,056.
Make the motion to pay the bills.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, motion carried. Comments on the agenda? Any comments on the agenda? If not, we'll go to presentations from Michelle Hook, Vice President of Public Affairs for Dan Scammer. Hi, Michelle. Did you know it was going to be cold? That's what you wore.
I did not. This is very cold. Thank you for putting me early on the agenda. As many of you may know, Dan Scammer Energy is seeking permits to repower our existing facility in the town of Newburgh, but we consider Marlborough a friend and a neighbor. So after conversations with the town supervisor and various board members, we would like to present the town with a check for $20,000 for community beautification projects. So that is why I am here tonight. So I have a check and a letter for the town board.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Isn't that nice, Jay?
Four board members here, that's $5 grand.
That was nice.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank Bill very much. We very appreciate it. And we're going to put this in our recreation fund. And like I said, it's all good stuff. It's for the community and the benefit of, our life. And it's all about...
The first $1,000 was going towards dirt.
That's in the park, so we'll do the park. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go.
You can leave now. You know, it's...
That's it. Thank you, Michelle.
That was a nice way to put it. You can leave. One way to make this meeting quick, huh?
You want to let these guys go first before the department?
We will. I think I'm going to do that when Charlie does his...
Yeah, that's good. Good idea.
Okay. So, Supervisory report, June 2019. Had a meeting with Marlborough School District Representative John DeMarco, representatives, and John DeMarco and Councilman Baker to discuss Dan Scammer school tax, property tax situation. Met with Milton Fire Chief Steve Nieder, it's not Matt Nieder, to discuss development project safety concerns. I must have had Matt on my mind. Met with Milton Train Station Foundation to discuss engineering plans for paving and landscaping. Met with Rosemary and Jerry Wine and Councilman Baker on the Milton Pier project. Attended Mid-Hudson's Arts Award at the Buttermilk Falls. That was great. Local artists received $2,500. Barbara Matterson attended Ulster County Association Supervisors in Kingston. The new county exec was there, Pat Ryan. Met at Clowett Chance Park to discuss ideas with Councilman Corcoran, Tom Schroeder, Dave Zambito, and Highway Superintendent Gail Appler, and Deputy John Alonji. Participated in town Memorial Day Parade, and I got to say that Tom Schroeder and the people from the Vibey Sutton did just a tremendous job. The American Legion, just a great job. Very, they should be proud of themselves. And I was proud to be a Marlboroughite and witness that. It was great. Met with contractor Mark Green to discuss Milton Train Station pavers. Met with Councilman Baker and Councilman, I must have been really tired when I did this. Corcoran, Councilman Baker and Corcoran, and the TOMVAC committee to review recommendations from Engineer Phil Bell. We'll discuss that later on. Attended the inauguration of Ulster County exec, the new exec, Pat Ryan. Attended the 100th anniversary celebration of the American Legion Vibey Sutton Post at Clowett Chance Park. And by the way, that was also put on by the American Legion, and they just did an outstanding job, right, Ed? I know some people couldn't make it, and it's understandable. It was on a Saturday. I know Scott couldn't make it. His boys were playing and baseball, and Mr. Corcoran couldn't make it because of the game, the state game, a very important game that was held in Long Island. So, but that was just a great, park. They had hot dogs and hamburgers and just a great event.
Great celebration.
So where am I? Okay. I got you. So met with engineer Jason Pintagaro. It's Italian, you know me with the Italian names. Pitangaro to review Milton Train Station. We did that this morning for the pavers. Met with engineer Jason also to review Milton Train Station Park with Deputy Superintendent John Alonji and Working Supervisor Gary Lazaroff. And also met with Superintendent, Acting Superintendent, I guess he's Deputy Superintendent John Alonji and Working Supervisor Gary Lazaroff at Clowett Chance Memorial Park to discuss blacktopping and with Van Etten paving. So I discussed those three items that we did this morning. And we're going to move on to the next report, which is Mr. Corcoran, our building inspector. Tom? Did your wife tell you about how cold it was down here? Put that red jacket on?
Building Inspector's monthly report for May 2019. Certificate of Occupancy 6, Request for Information 8, Building Extensions 10, Fire Inspections 13, Stop Work Orders 2, ZBA Applications 1, Order to Remedy 11, Complaints 33, Burn Permits issued 42, Clothing Bin Renewals 2, Building Permits, Addition Renovations 3, Barns 3, Carport Garages 2, Commercial Permits 1, 7 decks, 3 demolitions, 3 electrical, 2 furnaces, 1 mobile home, 2 pools, 2 roofs, 2 sheds, 1 sign, 1 single-family home, 1 solar panel installation, and 2 tank removal installs. Total permits 36 for estimated cost of building $1,547,972. Fees collected, certificate of occupancy 1,000, permit extensions 2681, building permits 8233, request for informations 800, total building permit fees of $12,714, adding fire inspections of 915, burn permits $200, ZBA applications 300, ZBA escrow for a total monthly fees collected or income of $14,829. Total miles 1,746 with total gas uses of 116 gallons.
Thank you very much, Tom. Any questions for Mr. Corcoran? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Chief.
June 10th, got a signature.
Activity summary for the month of May 2019. Personal injury auto accidents 8, fatal accidents 0, property damage accidents 14, accidents that didn't require a report 13 for a total of 35 for the month. Vehicle traffic summonses issued 120, parking violations 4, blotter entries 365 with a total of 21 arrests. Telephone calls handled 1,688. Police Department overtime for payrolls 10 and 11. The attached are for the full-time and part-time officers, both grant and regular overtime. No overtime for full-time or part-time dispatchers. Police mileage for the month, 12,534 miles with a fuel consumption of 1,059.618 gallons. If you just look at page 4 as you go, well, scroll down to page 4 on your machine. The new system has a new breakdown for the incidents that we handle. Keep going. Keep going.
That's all I
Oh,
got,
they didn't.
Jerry.
They didn't scan it.
They didn't send it.
Okay, well, no, we sent it. It didn't get scanned into your
Looks
system.
great.
Anyway, when you do happen to find it or get it, it's a new version. It breaks it down by month, and it lists all the various types of calls that we handled. The new system also puts in a percentage that you'll see. What it does, it takes that month's calls and divides it by the 100 and assigns each call type a percent of time spent with it to give you a total of 100. The only problem you have is I don't have prior year data yet. Since it's a new system, we only have the data we're putting in it now, so you won't see a comparison until 2020.
So does that help you with in any way, Jerry? Other than,
Well, it'll help with stats, and we can make nice bar graphs and nice pie graphs and things like that.
operationally? it's helping?
It does actually, it helps me track a little bit easier what each particular officer is handling and doing. You know, when they come to me and they're telling me they're so busy, they don't have time to do this, time to do that, I can actually go in the system and find out really how busy they are.
Right.
Everything gets tracked by the individual, right down to the traffic ticket. Each call is assigned to an individual, and it does track very nice. So for performance purposes, it's very easy to track. So it's a data-driven system, so the things that we can do with it are amazing. It's just a matter of figuring out what we can do with it.
Can you make charts in
Yep.
month-to-month comparisons
Yep.
and that sort of, that would be
We
great.
can do it in bar graph style, we can do it in pie style,
And this is county software or,
county software. Yep.
Okay.
And it's called New World Technologies. We call it LERMS, it's the quick name for it, but it's made by Tyler. It's a New World Enterprise program. It's complicated because, like any other data system, the more you put in it, the more you get out. So processing something now, either if it's a basic call, takes a little bit more time because we're still trying to figure out the system and what it requires and what it doesn't require in order to get things approved and processed. But we're getting faster and faster with every day. In the beginning, it was real tough. We almost threw our hands in the air and went back to the old system, but we've wrestled with it and we kind of like it now.
did they provide any help?
They did.
Okay.
All kinds of training, which was pretty useless because the training was in November and we didn't go live till May. Only because we had issues here in getting our equipment ready in time.
Okay.
So they kind of forgot everything they were taught. However, the Sheriff's Department sent down various peoples on various occasions to meet with us and go over things. Just last Thursday, we met with Deputy Reynolds, who went through all the admin stuff for us. So now that we know how to do pie charts and Excel sheets and all the stuff that we need to pull for reports like this, he showed us how to do it. It's actually relatively easy. Just it helps when they guide you through it the first time.
I mean, from where I sit, if, instead of the individual monthly data, I know you try to compare it, but yes, bar charts or, you know, we can see where things are increasing or decreasing, and that's.
The visual effect.
The visuals is, the graphics.
As we get better with putting in the information and getting that system to spit that out, I'll start providing them as
Yeah,
well.
that would be helpful.
Like I said, we only learned that stuff last week, so.
It would be great if does your software do any of that, Tommy? No? No.
I just have one question.
Sure.
I'm hoping it's a good answer. We're down 25% in the first 5 months as far as Summers is issued. Does that mean people are driving better? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to think that. I'd like to think that. Other than we've been relatively busy in other areas and doing other investigations, not as much traffic enforcement money from the state. DWI money's down. The 30th, I went up to Kingston, and I have to do a presentation in front of the Stop DWI board, and big part of the conversation is across the county, DWI numbers are down, which reflects into the courts. The convictions are down, and therefore monies that go back to the county via DWI is down, and therefore trickling back to us. The grants that they used to give us, 7,000, 10,000, one year was 15,000, are down like 4,000. So if you split that over the year, it's not even one day a week.
Good thing, huh?
You know, and well, the big push on that is they're trying to figure out whether it's compliance
Good thing, bad thing.
or lack of enforcement. You know, the big problem they have is you may get a DWI today, but when you go to court, it gets pled down to some other charge, a non-DWI related, and the DWI program gets none of that money. Well, the same thing holds true for traffic tickets through the Governor Traffic Safety Board. All those grants are still coming in. They're just a lot less money than we used to get. Buckle Up New York, we used to get like $6,000 to do a couple of details. So we'd go on the street with 15 guys, and you would write 200 tickets. Now you get about 4,000 for the year, and they expect you to do double the amount of details with that less money. And it's hard to do because you got one guy out there writing tickets. It's tough. You see 8, 10 tickets. You put 10 guys out there, though, and that's when you start seeing triple-digit tickets. Not that the compliance is not there. People are getting better at it, but cell phone usage is still through the roof. A lot of people still don't wear their seatbelts, believe it or not. You know, so it's a matter of paying for the enforcement. We don't budget for much enforcement because we always depended on the grants to come through. You know, we find better spots to spend our money rather than enforcement, only because we always got provided to by the state or by the county. With those numbers dwindling, it might be time to rethink that strategy, but that's pretty much why I think our numbers are down, is we don't have the money to spend that we used to.
I do see a lot more state troopers on 9WP.
Yeah, that's attributed to the Highland being a training facility. So every few months when they graduate a new academy, they transfer all their new guys here because it's busy and it's active, and they have 299, 9W, which they can slaughter tickets
I see them on the corner from where I work.
everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I never knew that.
Oh, I just wanted to thank the Highway Department for the Memorial Day Parade, too. They helped tremendously with the cones and our
did.
traffic setup. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, too.
And thank you, Chief. Like Howard and Mr. Baker said, these guys did a great job. So Gail Appler, seniors, supervised land town clerk Colleen Corcoran, town board, monthly report for May 2019. Roads, we are preparing roads that are to be blacktop this season. We cleaned the roadside drainage along Peach Lane. We did install 40 by 80 PVC pipe and 520 feet of 15-inch PVC pipe on Sherman Drive, along with 6 new catch basins. We picked up litter and mowed along the Memorial Day Parade route in Marlborough. Brush the weeds with herbicide and mowed along the roadsides throughout the town. Milton Train Station Park, and hold on here, just went black here. Hey, yeah. Good. What was something like thing like?
Yeah, Milton.
Okay. I know where. Milton Train Station Park. We spent the first 2 weeks working at the park. With the help of a rented excavator, we were able to break up all the concrete from the old Cadem Winery building. We hauled 46 truckloads of broken concrete to our Genio brothers. Community garden, we utilized the rental of the larger excavator, removing the old foundation and the garden grounds. We were able to dispose of the broken concrete slabs at the landfill. We worked on the preparation and assisted with the pouring of the new concrete floor in the building. Training on 5/10, we had a mandatory seminar on workplace violence, which the entire highway department attended. Shared service, we assisted hauling blacktop for the town of Lloyd with 3 trucks and for 3 days. Fuel usage, gas 261.165 gallons, diesel 1,590.064 gallons. If it was 1 million, we'd be in trouble. Okay, thank you very much. And that was John Alonji, Deputy Highway Superintendent. Water Superintendent, Mr. Maggio. How are you today, sir?
The monthly report for May, our water consumption totaled 16.975 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 548,000 a day. Compared to last month, we were at 15.3 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 510,000 a day. Compared to a year ago, we were 15 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 486,000 gallons a day. Summary for the month, hydrants, we had to repair hydrants down on Dock Road because of car damage, and we also started weed whacking around the hydrants. Water mains, we had to repair a 6-inch water main on Seneca Lane. We also had a water main break on Milton Turnpike. We had to repair a service line on Sherman Drive. Curb boxes, we had to repair curb box and valve boxes on Birchall Avenue. Valves, we had to maintain and rebuild our pressure reducing pits and pressure reducing valves in our pressure pits. Storage tanks, we inspected and flushed and maintained and tested water in our storage tanks. Meters, we read meters for billing. Billing was mailed out. If there's any problems or any questions, feel free to give us a call. Also, the water quality annual report is available on our town website. Please feel free to read it. That's a new thing that we did. Usually we mail it out, and now we're allowed to put it on our town website. We also have to put it around the community, like at the town hall here. We have it at the libraries. There's copies available. Also, I go around and deliver it to certain like apartment buildings, Jenny's Gardens and Milton Harvest. They get extra copies. So the residents there, if they want to view them, it's available. The reservoir, we started mowing around the reservoir. Town Park, we had the health department inspection there, and they tested our water. Sewer, we had fixed manhole risers on Orange Street, Jackson Avenue, and Church Street. Service line inspections, we had 2, closing 7, markouts 45, 280 gallons of gas, and the mileage for the month was 1850.
Okay, Charlie, so while you're up, I'd like to read this correspondence from Anthony Gernot. Is that correct, Anthony? It says, Dear members of the Marlborough Town Board, this letter is being written with the intention of exploring the possibility of extending town water resources west of Ridge Road in Milton, specifically in the area of Old Indian Road and Sunrise Drive. Over the last few years, residents in this area have been facing water shortages, often leading to costly measures in an attempt to increase the output of their wells. With no guarantee of these attempts resulting in any measurable improvements, residents are concerned that they may eventually run out of options to provide their homes with running water. At this time, myself, along with many of my neighbors, ask that the board advise residents of the possibility of extending town water resources to the area specified above. Thank you for your consideration. And as you know, I forwarded this letter to you, Charles. So,
What I could explain about that, it's not the first time that we were thinking about putting water there. We wanted to go about 500 feet up, and we did some surveying of the area because there was a resident complaining there that his water, he had low yields during the dry periods, like in July and August, he said that he'd have little problems. What we encountered was, well, to go to Sunrise Drive, it's about 1,000 feet from where the water is currently, which is at the corner of Old Indian and Ridge Road. So to go to Sunrise Drive would be 1,000 feet. But that's not the only problem. The rise of elevation, when we looked just at going about 500 feet, the rise was between 15 and 25 feet of elevation. So there'd be a pressure loss of about, every 10 feet you lose 5 pounds of pressure. So at the, right there at that hydrant, the residual pressure is 70 PSI. And there's a static pressure sometimes would go to 55, 60. What my concern would be, there would be a little pressure problem. Also, the terrain going up that hill might be a little shale.
Could you just show us what you're?
Where are we here?
Yeah.
I have on the tax map here,
Here's Stepping Stone.
Right there. There's Ridge. No, there's where Ridge comes out, Scott.
Where it intersects
No,
with Ridge
go-
Road?
Scott, go right.
Go to the right.
Where's
Go to
Ridge?
the right.
Oh, here it is.
Right there.
Okay. So where we're talking up in this area here?
Sunsets that
Yeah,
development
here?
where's Sunset?
right there.
it's Sunrise.
Sunrise.
That's, sorry.
Sunset's on the other side.
Charlie, I got a question for you too.
And also, just to reach that Sunrise Drive is 1,000 feet, and to the end of the Sunrise Drive, where I believe this address is about approximately 700 feet off of Old Indian Road.
And it's all
So
uphill.
Charlie, where does it ends right here at the corner of Old Indian and Ridge?
You know, hydrant's
Yes,
right
there's
there.
a hydrant right there to the east.
No, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Right
back
inside.
when you first put the water up on Ridge Road, we have pressure problems on Ridge Road itself, don't we?
Probably.
There was pressure problems.
Resolve that.
Yeah,
and-
we had a tank put up there, right?
No.
No.
Actually, what happened was they increased the pressure at the,
At the bait, at the water
Yeah.
comes in, okay.
So
There-
Remember, we had a problem back
There
then.
was a problem. There could be a storage tank that would help alleviate some of that
That's what I'm
problem.
saying with the whole thing.
make that larger to see the homes that are involved.
Well, these are. You want it
Also,
zoomed in more, you mean?
which I haven't discussed, is in order to get into the district sometimes,
The houses right there.
the parcels usually have to
With
abut.
the pool?
Which ones are your guys' houses, James? All these one, two, these two? And this one?
How many total houses are we talking?
So this whole area here, James, don't have no water.
And you have a problem.
So Fino, up the road has no water, but that's even further.
That's Josephine Martin.
Where the water tank is,
Yeah, that's over a quarter of a mile away. It's almost a half a mile.
Well, they're gonna pay for it. I know where it is.
I always remember this house here. This house here, always I don't remember seeing a water tanker sometimes sitting out there. And
That's another problem.
Yeah, that was the double wide down.
Okay, we're getting a little fuzzy here. Everybody's talking at once and we're
so
missing the point.
basically, anyway, what? I know you went up there, right? Or you've been up there a few times already. But so what's the distance and is it possible? Is it not possible?
And the cost is what we need to.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to, so you're saying that all the neighbors are for this? So there's one hurdle, because you need 51, if you wanted to extend a district, you need 51%. Okay, yeah, but so that'd be one of the first steps of expanding your district, would be to get 51% of the property owners
Right.
to agree to it. Second of all would be, you're gonna have to come up with a cost, and then you're gonna have a separate bill. You're gonna have a special district tax. You're gonna have to pay back the bond for the extension of the water district. And there was gonna be a cost we'd have to have an engineer look at. There's a lot of upfront costs too, because the engineer's gonna wanna get paid to actually do the upfront work. At that point, if you're still in agreement, we can move forward. At that point, it goes to the New York State Comptroller when he sees how much the total project is going to be for the expansion, and then there's a feasibility of payback. That's what the Comptroller needs to look at. Can you, group of homeowners, take on that debt? You know what I mean? You know, if it was bonded out over 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, depending on how you agreed to do it. So, and you would have a water bill.
One house that they're building down on the ridge,
I
I
s-
understand he's going with town water, so at some point you have to cross the river anyways to get to him.
Probably go under the road.
Right in here, Nick's building,
Oh,
right?
Nick's building at Galello, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Nick's building.
Yeah, but that's just a service line going across off the main, so that's just a road cut.
He already has it.
He's technically, he's already cut, yes, he's already in the district.
He's in the district.
He's in the water district. Okay,
Now, Nick,
Yeah.
he doesn't have water up here though, right?
No.
no.
That's what they're saying.
So I mean, that's the whole process of it all. It's, basically it has to be looked at, like Charlie said, you know, there might be shale there, so they'd have to do some test bores.
So the question is there any financial hardship grants or anything that apply to a situation like this?
Technically, no. We looked at doing a bunch of district expansions years ago when I first came on the board. A lot of what we were funding when our town water and our town sewer was, districts were created, that fell underneath, I think, HUD. And the town's medium income is too high to basically,
Yeah.
to receive those funds anymore. So both towns are, both Marlborough and Milton were looked at. We're both,
I think so.
yeah, and bring it to us, and then that would satisfy the 51%.
I mean, you definitely gotta get, like Alan said, you gotta have at least 51% of the residents in that spot.
That are willing to pay for
Which
this.
that
sounds
are
like you
willing to
do.
pay for it. And
The
then,
more you have, the less
then
expensive.
from there, I don't know what, do we
Yeah,
go and get?
I think from there, I think I could do a rough estimate. I
Right.
could ask our engineer what it would take to get in the district, our lawyer and stuff like that.
Yeah, Larry
So
owes.
we could start the process, at least to find out how much what the cost would be
Let me,
and how
let me-
much you're gonna have to bond
we should
for.
find out from legal, because I know when I tried to do a sewer extension district, I had to carry the petitions and talk to the people, so I don't know if you guys can just fill out names and say it's okay, or one of us has to be
I can
included.
find out what the whole
Fine,
process.
fine, I know the process, I went through it,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure legally if one of us has to be the one going door to door. That's what I need to know.
Okay.
So, because that's what I had to do with the One Sands Avenue thing, so,
Well, there's,
yeah.
are you guys saying there's approximately at least 10 houses in here that are gonna,
You have this, you have the
There's a
sergeant
little
as well, right?
problem, first of all.
1, 2, 3? So I mean, if you had 10 houses, obviously you gotta get at least 6 houses to say yes, right? So,
There's another problem,
Charlie.
because the district, none of these parcels abut our district. They're apart, there's a one and two parcels in between the district barrier. So you'd have to, New York City, if we're gonna enter them into our district, you'd have to explain that to them.
Say that again now,
Well,
Charlie?
if we extend the
I have
one,
a tax map right here,
Yeah.
and the district is over here, and you can see that there's parcels in between their
Parcels with no houses on them.
No, there's
No,
parcels
they-
that have houses.
so
You'd
going
So if
up,
those houses
going
were
up the road,
willing
you'd
to
have to
be
ask those-
part of
have
it.
to ask those people
Yeah, you have to, even though they're not part
to
of
be
it.
in the
so
district.
Charlie,
One of them's
could you,
Hogan Camp.
can you, like, share with them that,
The other one too.
that parcel map so they know what houses definitely have to be in the district?
it's
to
the
make
one
it
right on the
happen?
corner,
The one on the
and then
corner,
Hogan
here?
Camp.
And there's one behind.
right there, that's in the district. That one's not in the
This one's
district.
not in the
So
district.
that one needs to start it.
This one's in the district.
That one, yes.
Right on the corner there.
Which
The
one's,
next one
which
up
one
is-
Hogan, is
that's
Hogan
Hogan.
Camp?
No, it's not Hogan, there's one before, that's right.
No, there's one before.
Yeah, there's one in the back.
Well went dry 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it did.
So this is Hogan Camp here, isn't it?
No,
Or is this
think-
Hogan
Next
Camp?
one.
Next one. He's the right-
Who's the one next to Hogan Camp, down from Hogan Camp?
That's.
So who's this? Here.
I can't think of his last name, but there's one behind him too.
Yeah, that one right there.
There's one, there's a right-of-way that goes back between them and Hogan.
Right there, the one with the pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's,
You know,
that's
what
Jerry.
That would be the
what
one you
I'll do
need.
tomorrow,
Jerry
I'll
Gervais.
call Dennis up and see who's
Gervais
in the
still live there?
district and what the
Yeah.
process is.
Yeah, that's
And I'll
right
get
across
back
from
to you.
Hogan Camp's house. I didn't know if he had
yeah, that's the
moved
best
or
way, I think, Al, if you move forward, just call
drilled his
Dennis.
well down.
Call
Dennis
Dennis
knows
up.
the whole district.
He drilled his
He'll
well
tell you
deeper.
what residents
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
that's
get
what
in
I'm
the
thinking.
district
People are
in
gonna
order
have
to
to
make
do.
this part of the
Like I
district.
said,
Right.
You relay that to them, ask about the petition or whatever we have to hold, that they have to hold, and once they get enough people, bring it back, and then we can get kind
The
of.
other house is Jamie Randazzo.
I know,
The house before Hogan.
are you guys familiar with Mr. Gervais?
It is.
My understanding is he drilled another 200 feet? Yes. Have you guys considered that, and it's not feasible, or?
There's no water on that ridge.
We've done that before.
Yeah.
And
That,
again, like Mark said, it's a flip of the coin. He said
Yeah.
he's had wells, he's drilled three wells, and there's just nothing there.
yeah,
There's no water.
there's parts of Marlborough that are like that. I lived on a piece of land that was just like that in Milton. It was the same thing. It actually had 2 wells on there, and both of them ran dry. One was sulfur and one wasn't. But at the toilet, if the toilet would run for more than an hour and a half, 2 hours, I would basically lose water. So I know how you feel, believe me. Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is, I think, what the consensus of the board is. I'll call the engineer. I have your number, and so then I'll get in touch with you. Give me a couple of days, and I'll get the details about what the process is, as Councilman Koenig said, and we'll move forward that way. Not a problem. Thank you. James, you want to step up to the microphone? Is this on this topic? Could you hold off on it? Oh, go ahead, go ahead. There's not a bunch of...
I was just going to say that maybe the assessor can help providing the name of what the owner of the property.
Yeah. All right.
We're going to use everybody.
Thank you, James. Good point. Good point, James. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you.
Good job, Scott. Colleen, get it up.
See, that's why we gotta do.
Town clerk,
That's beautiful.
Colleen, how are we?
Oh,
Cold?
freezing, but
You
good.
warming up?
Oh, my God, you were late for, you should have felt it before body heat when we first got here, right,
I
Al?
walked in here.
It's bad, it's bad. It's a little bit better. Town Clerk Monthly Report for May 2019, Conservation 15, 34, 51, dog licenses 42 for a total of $240, road cut fees 1 for $350, transfer station permits 2 for $150, punch cards 34 for $2,050, marriage licenses 4 for $70, building department fees 1 for $11,676.70, fire fees 1 for $2,730, camp fees 2 for $1,550, Zumba 1 for $400, accident reports 22 for $110, certified copies 6 for $210, FOIA requests 3 for $78.50, minor sales 1 for $10, park fees 7 for $2,300, for a grand total of $21,959.71.
This is another set of, thank you, another set of information. Would be great if we could graphically display it and see if things are going up or down.
Like
So-
graphs? We don't
Yes.
have that.
We don't have, they don't have the
with
Yeah, that's
capital.
software, I know,
We
but
just had to, you
the
just had
police
to bring it up,
department is way
right?
ahead.
So
If
the
we
police
did it, it'd be
department is
great.
the only one who could do it, Howard. Let's,
Has that subject into their email,
Yes.
like if you want to move them to
I could ask just one question, Colleen. On the landfill, the punch cards, have they gone up, or are they usually pretty high?
It's usually steady. I haven't seen any increase or decrease.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually about $2,000 every month, roughly.
That's what, the rental fees, park
No,
fees?
transfer
That's
station, the punch
the
cards.
punch card fees.
The punch card fees, they relatively stay the same.
And the park fees, that's pretty much
Yeah, the
normal?
park fees are pretty steady always. They've increased, I think, since we've redone the park.
Is anybody renting the train station?
We have 2 people in June for the train station, back-to-back days, Friday and Saturday.
For what kind of, like, party, or?
One's a sweet 16 and one's just a general party.
Thank you.
You guys don't gotta freeze anymore if you don't wanna hang out.
Maybe it's nice to have some people here. Stay on, guys. So the next is Julian Falco, water quality management. Report of the Marlborough wastewater treatment plant for May 2019. The average flow meter reading to the plant was 133,000 gallons per day. The design capacity is 175 gallons per day. We use 76% of capacity. The process is meeting all other species requirements. Lab results show that we removed 99% of BOD and 96% of suspended solids during the month. The Milton Water Treatment Plant, the average flow to the Milton plant during May 2019 was 31,000 gallons per day. This is about 56% of the design capacity. 55,000 gallons is the capacity per day. We show 98% of BOD and 95% of TSS removal. The process is working well, meeting speedies requirements. Overall, wastewater treatment plants are in good working order, but getting older. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me, Julian Falco, Water Quality Management. I think he has to put that in because it's getting old.
Every time.
He always says.
Actually, no. Dennis is... Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll get back to you in a couple of days. Not a problem. Actually, no. He's a little underwater, but we just finished the bid packages for the 9W sewer first phase, and that'll be done. We'll open up those bid packages the 20th this month, and we'll award the bid to it. And then I'll push him even harder to get that whole... from that meeting that we had down there on the Marlborough plant.
Okay.
I haven't forgotten about it. He hasn't either, believe me. I remind him every time I talk to him.
Okay.
Town of Marlborough Dog Control overview. We received a total of 16 calls this month, including 8 calls to service from Marlborough PD. State Police or Ulster County Sheriff responded to 6 active complaints or cases which are now closed and resolved. We currently have 4 open cases that has been addressed but is ongoing or unresolved. We impounded 0 stray dogs this month. We issued 5 appearance tickets citing numerous counts of the town code and agricultural market violations. We currently have no dogs in the kennel. We had 1 dog bite reported this month. We have a dangerous dog complaint under investigation at this time. There has been a high volume of calls related to lost dogs being spotted running at large. I would like to urge residents to keep their dogs tied at all times. If you see a dog running loose, please do not attempt to grab it, as it is a serious bite risk. Please take pictures. Take a picture if possible and call the police department, and we'll be able to find out who the owner of the dog is through social media outlets. 9 times out of 10, a spotted dog is not ever picked up. 8 times out of 10, a picture will lead us to finding out who the owner is and a positive intervention that would save the pup from being hit by a car in the future. And that was from our dog warden, Andrew McKee. Ed, why don't you read the next one?
Okay, town boards from Cindy Hilbert, C.C. Colleen Corcoran, June 10, 2019. June report. We prepared 5 property tax estimates. The Board of Assessment Review held 21 appointments on grievance day. They're working on their deliberations, and their final decisions will be mailed out at the end of June. Our office processed 37 real property transfers. We'll be filing the final assessment roll on or before July 1st, 2019. I'll be out of the office from June 28th through July 7th, 2019 for vacation.
Thank you very much, Ed. And last but not final, planning board review by Mr. Baker.
Town of Marlborough Planning Board Review, May 9th, 2019. Meeting on May 6th, approval of stenographic minutes for 4/1/2019. Approval of above minutes was granted unanimously. Everyone was in attendance. Agenda, first item was Chris Noto, 194 Highland Avenue, Marlborough Sketch Subdivision. The applicant appeared and presented plans to subdivide the parcel indicated above. Town engineer Pat Hines had significant concerns regarding previously completed fill activities on the site which were not reviewed or permitted by the town of Marlborough. Records regarding previously completed water line expansions were incomplete. The proposed septic system raised questions due to the previously unpermitted fill activities on the site. Several technical issues on the plans need to be corrected before the plan can progress. The applicant will return at a later date. Second item was Top Seed Landscape for a sketch site plan review. The applicant appeared to construct a new commercial building on the site. The plans presented had significant discrepancies and require modification correction. Applicant will return at a later date. Next item was Twin Pond preliminary site plan. The applicant reappeared to work on completing their site plan application. New York State DOT approval is required for the proposed entrance drive, stormwater plan, and proposed sidewalks. The applicant will reappear at the June 3rd, 2019 meeting for a public hearing. Then there's the Smith subdivision, First Street, Milton, preliminary subdivision. Applicant reappeared to work on completing their subdivision application. The applicant will reappear at the May 20th, 2019 meeting for approval by resolution. Next item, Royal Energy Properties, Milton sketch site plan. The planning board voted unanimously to declare its intent to act as the lead agency for review of this project. The applicant has several outstanding issues to address, including comments from jurisdictional fire departments, existing encroachments, stormwater management, grading, curbing, coordination with New York State DOT, and submission of complete building plans. Next deadline, May 10th. Next meeting, May 20th. Then the meeting held on April 15th. They approved the stenographic minutes for 4:15. Approval of the above minutes was granted unanimously. Board members Benny Trapani and Cindy Lanzetta accrue 2 hours of professional development. Attendees, I believe everyone's there. Agenda, first item, Smith subdivision, Milton final subdivision. The project seeker neg deck and notice of determination of non-significance and approval of a special permit site plan were all approved unanimously. Recreation fees of $8,000 were also approved. Bayside, representatives for the application appeared to seek extensions for their previous approvals. The time lapsed for the subdivision approval was deemed too significant for reapproval. The applicant will have to reappear before the board to resubmit subdivision plans. The action will require a public hearing. The site plan extension was approved by a 4-2 vote. Reminder, joint meeting Williston County Planning Board for May 30th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. at Town Hall for members of all boards. Next deadline, May 24th. Next meeting, June 3rd. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brandt, Chairman, Town of Marlborough Planning Board.
That's it. Thank you, Howard.
That's it. You're welcome.
So let's go to reports of committees. Recreation Committee. Vinny, would you like to come up? Tell us about the park concert. Sorry, Howard.
I was going to ask, yes, the guys that are sitting out there freezing should go first. Maybe after this gentleman, BJ, can go, because he wants to talk about Meet Me in Marlborough, I think. But.
I think the air conditioning is great. I'm really enjoying it. What's up, Chief? So concerts in the park are back, starting in July, every Friday. The first Friday in July, July 5th, we have Nelly Bombs Duo and Jason Gisser Band, which is it's kind of a rock funk night. It's going to be very good. Followed by the 12th is going to be a band out of Newburgh called The Drizzle, opening up for Sole Purpose, and that's going to be R&B night. And then the 19th, we have, we're getting a little harder, and we're going to do classic metal. I don't know if anybody knows, you guys know Nick Roberts? You guys know him? He probably has attended more concerts in the park than anybody. Mm-hmm. And he kind of looks like he traveled here in a time machine from the 80s. He's a 19-year-old kid. He's a character, but he's really good.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that to do with the boombox?
With the boombox.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he drives like an older 80s car.
Yeah, exactly. So his band Rapture is opening for Bloated Toad, who hasn't played here in a few years. And, so they'll be playing metal hits from the 70s and the 80s. And then we're going to round it off with some alt country on the 26th with, what's the name of that band?
David.
Well, David Cry's headlining. Oh, yes, Lucky House is opening for David Cry. Yeah. And the signs out front were painted by a woman named Michelle Fornal. She's done it the last few years. I think she does a really good job, and Tom Schroeder helped me get the signs together and whatever else. And we'll be starting to push ads on Facebook, and I hope everybody can make it.
Sounds
Great.
great.
And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benny, appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Benny's getting married.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's have a...
Marriage? Okay. BJ, would you like to come up and talk about Meet Me in Marlborough?
He probably likes the cold weather. Yeah,
Well,
he's never coming back.
I'm here on behalf of all the Meet Me Marlborough members that are pretty happy to have this opportunity to talk to the board. It only been 15 years in the making, and I think that Meet Me in Marlborough is finally really getting somewhere. A lot of good things are happening, and today I'm just going to go through 15 different points here because it is the first time, so I'd like to touch on the past, present, and future, and highlight some of the things that is going on. First of all, most of you have received the invitation, I hope, for the brochure. No? All right. This is my own invitation, but I'll leave it with you. It's happening on the 19th of this month at Nostrano, what do they call themselves? Winery, I guess. That's sort of becoming an annual event where the new brochure is being introduced to members, guests, yourselves, anybody that want to show up there in the in the afternoon. I think it's at 6 o'clock, right?
Something like that.
6 o'clock on the 19th.
Yes.
Yeah.
5:30 is a tour.
Oh, 5:30.
It's a tour.
The tour, and then 6. Okay. We represent about 80 members at the present time. It started out primarily with the farms way back about 15 years ago. And now, of course, a lot of things are happening in town, and wineries have shown up here, more wineries, local businesses, civic groups, and some non-for-profit organizations within the community as well. They all now seem to really be joining the organization, so we are up to about 80 members in different categories. We have, we're meeting just about weekly now, the board, because we have that many things going on. So a lot of things are happening. Among other things, I Love New York, which is a real coup. We have worked with them now for a little more than a year. Whether we can become an integrated part of I Love New York and get on their website is yet to be seen. But Rick Remschneider, that I'm sure everybody knows, the head of tourism for the Ulster County, he's very helpful in this. And for us to go through all these procedures and administration and rules, regulations, but we have to go through Ulster, through Remschneider, in order to get to I Love New York. But if we can display I Love New York in our brochures and on our website in the future, it'll mean a lot to all of the kind of businesses that we have in this town. We also now working directly with New York State, the grant portal. We have been able to get into that, which is helping us a lot. And there's a lady here in town that is a specialist in grant writing. God help her, because that is a lot of work. But that's going well also. We have several grant ideas, obviously. We continue to build our working relationship with also the domestic side, not just the international, but also the domestic side of I Love New York. They are divided up international and domestic, and we are trying to attract people, of course, from everywhere in the world, if you will. The local dignitaries, well, I guess I'm speaking to them, have also been...
That's a very loose term, I am sure.
We are trying to work much closer with you, of course, because now we're starting to really, as I said again, we're getting somewhere with all of this. So we have a lot more ears that want to listen to what we are doing, and we are clearly showing progress. We participate also in the Hudson River Valley Ramble. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's an organization that is very much into recreation and the heritage, and that's, of course, something we are quite interested in. Working also with the local historians here. We are also developing some self-guided seasonal tours, which is primarily, again, for the domestic, for the region, but we're seeing more and more interest as we go along with the website. And here is an important thing that's coming up also. There is an opportunity for us to get a billboard. Exactly where it's going to be hasn't been established, but that billboard will, in fact, we'll be able to sit at home and program it, and it will most likely be up around the park, so that whoever drives through here, instead of having that little church board that nobody reads driving by, this is going to be something real eye-catching. But it's more than $20,000, so it's a big mouthful for us.
So you are applying for grant money for that?
I beg your pardon?
Are you applying for grant money for that, or?
Yeah.
You are, okay.
Yeah, we do have some money, but not anything that comes close to that, so we'll see if we could get it.
And would you be willing to share that with other organizations in terms of what goes up there, or just the Meet Me in Marlborough calendar events? Is that what you're talking about? That type of...
I'm sorry, Howard. I can't hear you.
Meet Me in Marlborough calendar events, is that what would go on this electronic billboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And also, again, this year, we will participate in the Marlborough High School scholarships. We also are thankful to Giovanni Tamburi, who picked Meet Me in Marlborough as his Eagle Scout project. And he repaired and beautified both south and north Meet Me in Marlborough signs as you get in and out of town. And finally, we'd like to thank Al and Howard for moving some of the farm statue signs to a shaded area to help preserve them.
Not a problem. That's the least we could do.
So needless to say, we are really working hard on a lot of things. We even have a tourism committee, but the spirit seems to have changed the past year or two. So the next report next month, we should even a month from now, we should show pretty good progress.
One thing, the town would be very interested in that electronic sign also. If there's a way if we could work on
You think
together
we might be able to share it?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because of,
80-20, you
events.
pay for 80%, we pay for 20%, something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking along the lines of 90%. but
It's on our property.
We have to own it because it's on town property.
Yeah,
You can't just...
violation of the new sign law.
That's right.
You're technically in violation right now.
But I think that's
If we
a
put a
great
real
idea.
electronic sign
If we
up
could
there,
work
then
on
we
it
have to
together.
Yeah, you have to go through, so,
I think if the town did it, we don't have all that much to say. We wouldn't be used up all the time. They could put
No.
their stuff.
We'd definitely like to work with you on that in
but
some fashion.
we could work with you, but
Yeah, of course.
Tom brings up a good point. We have a sign ordinance or code, and basically, you can't advertise on somebody else's property.
Right.
So we could work together with that. We could own it, you could advertise on it.
Well, around the area where the farmer's market is, and that's
We own
public
that.
property, right?
No, that's public property. It's town-owned, yes, public town-owned.
So that'd be.
We'll work through that.
We'll work. We work through it now because.
It's a good question. Is town-owned property public property?
We're allowing the sign there now, right? So it's not like it's,
You're right.
Not an issue. We just want to work with you on it,
just
that's
wanna
all.
work with you on it, that's all.
We should know more about that the next meeting.
Okay.
We already have a proposal, and I thought it was very pricey, but
No,
let's
it's,
see what other opportunities.
what they
what
cost,
other
right?
Signs there are out there. I don't know.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Emergency Management Preparedness Committee now.
Yeah, I got something on here. I was approached by the two fire chiefs in town. Steve Nieder gave me a letter today, and Chief Maston just emailed me one a little bit ago, like 5 minutes ago. But the one from Steve Nieder says, Mr. Lanzetta, I reached out to Town Councilman Koenig as he is committee for the Town Emergency Management for Town of Marlborough, as well as Assistant Chief for Milton Fire District. Milton Fire District is asking for town code to be adopted for Knox Box rapid entry system. We're using a Knox Box would allow fire department to gain access to a building and rapidly investigate the possibility of emergency inside without the delay for waiting for a key holder or possibly damaging doors and windows to force entry inside. There's 3 commercial businesses in Milton Fire District that have Knox boxes installed: Milton Elementary School, Brooklyn Bottling, and Josie's Path, South Road. These 3 locations have proven many times we're able to gain access without incident. Chief Maston's email pretty much says the same thing. I'll forward those to the board.
Okay.
Chief Nieder wasn't able to put this in email form, so he left it for me on his desk today. I picked it up this afternoon. What I did was I grabbed some literature on Knox box systems in case the board members aren't. And Tom, you know what these are, right?
It's on my desk.
So you don't need this, right?
I've got the same one on my desk. I try to copy and hand it out.
Yeah.
I just go on record to say, obviously, I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
It's an ideal thing for the businesses to have, for the fire companies to get in, not only for the fire company's benefit, but also for the owner's benefit.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause
you
now-
recommend, I'm sorry, you recommend that we codify this or put it in the application that, for site plan or people that,
Well, I think ideally, it'd be best to go into the town code.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
every time we'd come through with something, they'd have to do it.
Yeah,
And
and
it'd be somewhat retroactive.
Yeah, and it's not really, there's not a huge initial investment in this at all.
no, I know that.
Yeah.
I know, I go to the planning board meetings, I
Yeah.
see both chiefs to talk to them.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
just something that, we figured we'd bring to the town and see if we can get it
And most of-
codified.
And the town board doesn't, planning board doesn't have a problem with them at all.
Right,
Yeah.
but at the planning board, they sit behind there and say, yes, absolutely not a problem, but then
They don't.
it becomes to a point where I can't enforce it.
Yeah,
So if we put it in the code, it becomes, part of it, just like in the New York State code where it says
Right.
they have to have the alarm system that goes to Central Station
Mm-hmm.
for businesses, for their own protection. This is, again, the same thing. If we codified it and said it was law, then I would, then I'd be able to enforce what they're agreeing to at the planning board because they're blanketly agreeing to get
Yeah.
to the planning board.
it's no different than, like you said, the alarm or the CO detector, it has to be there, period.
I think the chiefs also, I know that Chief Nieder, we talked about, like with the Smith development, they're in the water district, but somehow we don't have it in our codes codified that if you're in the district, you have to actually join the district, you have to hook up to the district.
Sewer, yes, water, no.
Water, no. So I think we
Should look at that, too.
we have to look at that too. And I think you have a couple of things you like to have added as far as burn permits at certain times,
I have at least
especially
one,
in
yeah,
the village.
So
So
we
we'll put these all together and present it to the board, and then we'll go to legal to get it going. What do you think, board?
Sounds good.
Sounds
Okay,
good to me.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. The CAC, we're going to put together the design guidelines, the recommended design guidelines, and hand it out to everybody per that meeting with Dennis Doyle we had. He showed some things, but he didn't show the Marlborough CAC recommended guidelines. I think everybody's seen it. I think Mr. Councilman Baker made a few suggestions, and also Matt Kirsten, and so we're moving forward on that. So I'll have that all in nice form. Philip will do that for us, my son, and we'll move forward on that at no cost.
Why you look at me when you say
No, I'm just saying. So, and then the Milton Train Station Foundation, like I said, we hired an engineer. He did the engineering there for the pavers. I was informed by Dasney I had like $7,000 left on that grant for the train station from Senator Larkin. And so I just put that amount in. We just paid him $4,000 for it. That is the town's building. The train station foundation has the money, or hopefully has the money, to do the work with the pavers. Met with Jason today, went over it with Mark Green. It was suggested by the architect that we continue the grant with Dasney with the same construction outfit. And since Mark did a great job on the train station, I thought that was appropriate. So we're going to find out what the cost is. Met with John Alonji and Gary Lazaroff there to go over logistics. We have to move some guardrails and stuff like that. And also met with Mark Green's excavator engineer. So they're going to put it in a package. We're going to see what the cost is. I know the train station has 50 plus. I don't know if that's going to do it, but we're going to work something out. And along the edges, we could use some of the stone that we took from the Milton Road, the cobblestone, so that'll save some money too. So that's moving forward.
So Al, that was just for the train station.
That was just for the train station, but since Jason was there, and he also did the engineering on the Milton Train Station Park, which is across the street.
Right.
And since Gary Lazaroff and John were there, since they've done quite a bit of work there already, we discussed that too.
This is
So
Behan's Jason, right?
this is Behan's Jason, Jason's Jason, our Jason's.
Right, yeah, okay, that guy.
Write the check out to Jason, anyhow. So since he was there, we discussed that, and we discussed what the process would be, and Jason said that he'll come back and do some topos for Gary, so this way, you know, there's landings where going up, and so he'll fill all that in, and then when we're ready there, then we could go out for bid for the professionals to do that. He also suggested that there was some dirt after breaking up the concrete on the other side, that we take that dirt and just move it over and bank it against what's there now. So we'll need some more fill, a lot of more fill, and then we'll continue from there. And as you know, that's a $98,000 grant that we have there. It's a 50-50 match, so we're doing pretty good on that. And a lot of work thanks to the highway department. We're moving forward. So, before I get to Milton Landing, I guess I could put this in too. So when we met, we also discussed with Gary and John that when they had the machine with the I don't know, what do you call that machine with the
Hammerhead.
Yeah, so they went up to Sands Avenue and they actually broke all that concrete up, and then they were doing the road here in Milton, Sherman Drive. They got a bunch of dirt there and they filled that in, and they suggested maybe I could go up and talk to Custom Compost, see if I could get a deal on some topsoil. They figured 50 yards. So I went up there. I didn't realize it was going to happen so soon. The guy said, sure, $20 a yard, $1,000. So I just, Mr. Corcoran, Councilman Corcoran made a motion to pay $1,000. So it's down there. They did it today. So they'll just spread it out, put some grass seed there, and that'll look nice while you go in there. So that being said, we'll move on. Sorry to take up so much time. Milton Landing Citizens Committee.
I think we're good. Fishing season ended. There wasn't a lot of garbage down there. A lot of people visited. No problems. It's good. Good season.
Are you guys planning on having a meeting soon, or just?
Or I think we're going to call a meeting soon, yeah.
Okay.
With everything that's been going
I
on.
think Rosemary wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we can get everyone together, so.
The only problem that I'm aware of to do with the docks is somebody stole the fishing pole holders off the one dock. The plastic tubes that were mounted to the
That's
corners.
somebody, I know who put those there, it wasn't,
Okay, well, they're gone.
yeah, that was,
Maybe he reclaimed them.
he reclaimed them.
He did, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I saw him put them up.
Okay. That was the only thing I noticed that was missing since the season.
I noticed they didn't take the zip ties out.
So everything's okay?
That's right.
Everything's good?
Yeah,
Everything else is good.
Okay.
everything's fine.
Just to add on a little bit on that, Al, the Milton Landing, so we are
Okay.
going to go forward with the grant. We've tried 2 times in a row. Hopefully the third time will be good for the lower part, and we're working on revising that grant application based on the feedback we got from the Department of State, yeah, Barbara Kendall. So that is why we're doing this LWRP resolution later on tonight. But so anyway, there is at least that grant that we're going to go after. So we've had one meeting. We need to have a meeting with John Behan to help us out a little bit, and we're going forward with that, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, just a quick question. The fire department's planning a cornhole tournament down there.
Mhm.
Should we sign that out? We never ever had an issue. I'm just wondering, did people ever, have they ever come to your office to ask to sign that park out?
To sign just
The landing
pavilion.
park out?
No.
You mean to rent it out?
The landing?
Yeah, has anybody ever approached you? Okay.
Maybe once we,
Station pavilion, that's all.
I'm just wondering if anyone's ever done it, because we were talking about it, we were gonna have, we've been having these cornhole tournaments, and I'm like, we never really actually told anybody we're doing this. So,
like
so I'm
Scott's,
telling you guys we're
It's not
doing
a
it.
private thing, but anybody
No,
can
it's,
join, right?
anybody can join. It's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
But no, we've never done anything,
Okay.
so.
once we get it fixed up, maybe we'll have,
Once we get it fixed, we
you have to,
start thinking
We would just write you a nice letter asking you to waive the fee because we're the fire department. And you guys would probably agree. I'm just wondering, we just never told anybody
Not
we're
a
coming.
problem.
the
So,
Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, the only thing I would say there, Al, is, and everybody, that is sort of an outgrowth of that is the historic survey grant that we have applied for. We will hopefully hear back on that in July, but I was notified, Al and I were notified by the Vice President of the Preservation League of New York, who I believe oversees the grant application. She's coming for a visit on Wednesday, and I'm going to give her a whirlwind 1-hour tour of the historical assets we have in town, as best I can do in an hour. She's coming from Hyde Park on her way to Manhattan. She's stopping here to see us. So I think it's a good sign, and we'll see what happens. So I have my,
I saw your agenda. It's quite impressive.
I did it in
You
58
do a
minutes.
great job. I don't know how you do it, but you do a great job. There must be that IBM mentality.
I just got in the car and started driving.
I'm surprised you didn't put times on it.
Well, if Marie had been there, I would
I
have.
appreciate it, Howard.
Yeah, you're
And the board does too. So meet me in Marlborough, we heard about that. Hamlet and Milton Association Committee, everything looks beautiful down there.
Flowers are growing good. I was supposed to water today and it rained. I'm so disappointed, but everything looks good. I mean,
It does, it looks
they're not
beautiful.
disappearing. No one's just running them over. So far, so good. That's that.
Yeah, and just to let you know that I talked to Robert and the Kenson, they seem to have an agreement on that piece of property there on Main Street, so I think talking to Robert, he's going to move forward and get that thing going now.
Speaking of that, is Robert putting another parking lot or extending the parking lot in back of Frida's?
He is.
He tore the barn down there. That's
He
to
is.
put a parking lot in?
Yeah.
I figured that was
Yeah,
for.
he
Okay.
is, for parking area.
That's good, though, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he, unlike, I mean, he took the precaution, and Robert does things, I think he did a asbestos abatement that came out. And, he did everything right before Tom gave him the permit to demolition, so.
Good.
Yeah, so that's the reason for that. So, and then, you know, he's moving pretty fast with the planning board on the extension of the spa, so that's coming along well. So I'm happy things are moving forward with that. Transfer Station Review Committee?
Nothing, you know, there's still those 2 outstanding items. We're still waiting to hear from
Okay.
the Ulster County Sheriff's Office, and I need to make arrangements to have the chipper
Okay.
come here. So.
Yeah. So talking about chippers, I know it's not here, but we're moving forward with the West Street with the addition of new sidewalks to go from West Street all the way to the library. So far, we took down a couple of trees by the library that were in the way, and we notified the library before we did it. And also Charlie Maggio moved a fire hydrant. And I was told by the property owner there that he did a great job, and they were very satisfied. It's almost like they were surprised, Charlie. I don't know. You always do a great job. So just recently we put a new telephone pole on the west side that was in the way of the sidewalks. So that new pole was there. We had to take down a tree. We got the permission from the owner of the house that the tree was in front of. So we're waiting for the transfer from Central Hudson to the telephone pole, and then cable, and then Verizon takes the pole away. So we're in pretty good shape for starting our sidewalks, I think, after they do all the paving work. So, yeah, we're doing good. So hopefully we'll have those sidewalks in, and maybe we'll have some extra money left over. So, moving forward, old business, anybody? Mr. Corcoran, Scott Corcoran, yes. Councilman Corcoran, plans for Tomvac Phil Bell Engineering.
It's going to be next meeting, right?
Phil Bell, engineer.
We met.
Well, we met last week now?
Yeah.
Fourth.
Last week, on the 4th. And we went over some stuff. It kind of got a little crazy a little bit in the beginning about some people wanting to change plans in the midstream, and we squashed that down. So we met with Phil. He went through all the ins and outs of the breakdown of the project. We weren't happy with his engineering fees, so we had a follow-up conversation with him, and he did resubmit his fees today, and it came down substantially, like $50,000 from his original estimate. So I think we're right in that range of where we thought we should be with that. Having said all that, we're not going to present to the end of our next meeting to the board. And that's on the 25th now, right? Is it?
Yeah, that's primary.
It's a primary.
So we have to be at the school.
So we're going to be upstairs, and it's going to be on the it's going to be on the 24th. But it's going to be upstairs.
Right,
All right.
exactly.
Yep.
Because they have to set up on Monday, and that means we can't come down here.
Meeting?
So I'm not going to give out numbers. I'm not going to give out the numbers now because there's no sense in me giving numbers. But what I will do is I'll send you the whole board, Phil's last estimate that he sent out today, and then you guys can look it over so you'll have it for the next meeting.
Okay.
So, all right?
It'll be on the agenda for presentations. Great. Also, what am I trying to say? The Assembly and the Senate adjourn on the 19th, so maybe by then we'll know something about the ask for member item monies for the Tomback building. As stated before, design standards for Route 9W corridor overlay, we're going to present those to the board. We could put them in proper form. Tonight we're doing the LWRP. We have a resolution for that. Water district improvement, I mean, we beat this to death. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll keep it on there. And the metal building at the transfer station, Scott, looks like great. They poured the foundation. I don't know if they got any estimates for the door, the garage
Yeah,
door.
so we went up and it looks great, the floor came out great, knocking down the old bathroom house, makes it look so much bigger in there, it's unbelievable. They did do some exterior, you know, leveling of the grounds out there, but this needs some more work. But they're gonna have, get a couple estimates, we need a new garage door, we need a new entrance door, we need some exterior metal work, the roof actually is in pretty good shape. And we're actually gonna get a third thing, just for ha-ha sakes, to see what it'll cost to actually put a secondary garage door on the opposite side. So you could almost have like a drive-through, and actually, it's actually easier to access from that side in a lot of cases. So, not to say we're gonna do that, but just to get an estimate for that. So, Gary and John are looking in to get those estimates for us, and then hopefully we'll get them also by the end of the month.
I got a question. Should we be moving all this new business to old business now? Since it's been on the thing for a while?
Is that a motion?
I make a motion to move everything from new business to old business.
I'll second.
Because it's not
I
new
got a
business, it's been
second.
there the
All in
first time.
favor?
Aye.
So moved. So A, B, well, C, I
C we'll
think,
take off later.
C, we could, I think I need a motion to take that off because we're going to address that. Or you want to leave that on, Howard?
Just leave it on until we,
Yeah.
Until we actually go through
Oh,
it.
yeah, so we'll
Actually
send that
adopt
to
it.
old business. D we'll put on old business. Since metal buildings are still going on, I think maybe we should.
Yeah, it's still all business.
It's old business, okay.
as
Sure.
we're talking about
A, B,
these
C,
things.
D, and E we'll put on to old business. And we'll
Yep.
have a whole bunch of new business next time.
Let's hope.
Thank you.
So I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Can you give those down? That's what I read.
Correspondence, we had a couple correspondence. One was from the Chiefs, one is from the gentleman, Anthony Garnott, from 15 Sunrise Drive, about the water. We went through that, and I think we just got something from Colleen. Are we good for,
Those are the ones I read.
September
I
5th.
just gave them the ones you read.
for the
Ulster
park,
County
for the
County
aging?
Aging,
From us,
yes.
we're good?
Yes.
Okay. They do that every year.
Yes.
But this is like, yeah.
Come big event.
So Ulster County does a picnic for the aging, and they do a lot of
They
good
just
stuff
wanna
to
waive
let
the
them know
fees.
exactly what's going on with Ulster County as far as UCAT and all
You
this
don't have
other
your
stuff.
book with you, do you?
No,
Because I talked to Danielle about the 22nd for the bocce thing a couple of weeks ago, so make sure she has it.
22nd of what day?
September.
September. Okay, I'll write it down.
But I did tell Danielle, I'm pretty sure she.
I'm sure she wrote it in if you spoke with her, but I'll write it down. September 22nd.
Okay. Any public comment? Good to go. Up. Come on up.
I was just saying, we get the plans for the Tondyke building, you want me to take a look at them for the HVAC? I'll give you some clue if he's gold-plated the job.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it goes out to bid, and I look at it, and I know it's gonna be higher than your budget, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Very appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you. Good, take care.
Hey,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So let's go to resolutions.
Let's go.
So, Resolution 57, to accept the Town of Marlborough's draft local waterfront revitalization program is completed and ready for state, federal, and local agency review, and authorizing the submission to the New York State Department of State. And this has to do with the LWRP. As you can see, we had public meetings on 11/17/16, 12/15/16, 2/23/17, and a public hearing on 8/14/17. And therefore resolved that the draft local waterfront revitalization program for the town of Marlborough is accepted by the town board as completed and ready to be submitted to the New York State Department of State for state, federal, regional, and local agency review pursuant to the provisions of Article 42 of New York State Executive Law. And be it further resolved that one certified copy of this resolution be given to the New York State Department of State for state to get together with the Town of Marlborough draft local waterfront revitalization program and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes, I just want to make one comment that a good reason we're doing this, we're asked to do this, we have to do this, but we will also get points towards this other grant application, or we'll lose points if we don't do this. So that's the motivation here to get this. And this just says we accept it, now has 60 days for other people to
Yeah.
review it, but
Absolutely.
we don't want to lose those points in the other grant that we're going for.
And it's no fault of the board, but the state's taken a while to do this, you know. So,
Supervisor Leonard.
I said yes.
yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Now we can move C from old business.
Resolution 58, to deposit funds. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, where it was agreed to dissolve the Southern Ulster Alliance on the May 21st, 2019 meeting, and whereas all remaining funds are to be divided and dispersed to participating communities, be resolved that the town of Marlborough will deposit $2,984.86 from the Southern Ulster Alliance to the Park Reserve Fund. I thought that would be the best place to put it because it was for, initially for trails, and we got that money, grant money from the Greenway, and we never spent it. It was, I think it was back in 2006 when I became supervisor. The U.S. Alliance was in existence, and we had this money, and I've been after Cindy Hilbert for the last year to, let's just get rid of it. Let's just dissolve it and divvy it up, and that's what we did. So we could use the $3,000. And moves for its adoption.
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. And Resolution 59 to appoint summer camp employees. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following. We resolve that the following employees be appointed to the 2019 summer camp. Basically, there's just about everybody's coming back. Bunch of great kids. As you know, we increased the pay, so yeah, so I think the health director, the ENT, is Susan Thompson. She's came back. So anybody wants to see who is the youth council, I'm not going to name all the names, and the senior councils and the adult counselors. It's definitely be on the website. So, and we move for adoption, unless you guys want me to go through each name and crucify them.
There's a couple of Italian names there.
Oh, my God.
I read them, we're all right.
Councilman Corcoran.
I just want to disclose one of the youth counselors is Matthew Corcoran, is my son.
Get him off of there.
But I do approve.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. Thank you very much, everybody. The crowd out there. Alan?
Sorry I was late, and I make a motion to end the meeting.
All right.
I'll second it.
Adjourn.
All in favor?